Hello, my name is Andrew Edgar, and this is a demonstration on how to install RPITX and the RTL-SDR drivers used in my honours project. So first of all, to preface, I have a Raspberry Pi which is connected to my local network right now. So I'm going to connect to it via SSH with a software called PuTTY. In order to find out the IP address of uh, the Raspberry Pi, what you can do is either go into the Raspberry Pi itself and use the command ifconfig. But another way to do it is if it is connected to the internet, you can show the ARP table. And this isn't very helpful on its own, but if you go to, so that essentially this one here, 01, it will show you all the devices that are connected to the home network. And so this Raspberry Pi has the MAC address B8. So that has the IP address 192.168.0.39. So what we're going to use is PuTTY, which is an implementation of SSH, and we're going to say 192.168.0.39. Oh, I said 268. 192.168.0.39. Super. So we're now connected to the Raspberry Pi. We're going to log in with username pi and the password. So we're now in it, and we can start installing the packages. So if it's your first time on a brand new install of the Raspberry Pi operating system, you want to make sure that you update and upgrade all the packages. So to do that, we're going to use the command sudo apt get update. So what this command does is it finds all the available updates that the packages have. So now that we've found out which packages have updates, we're going to use the command upgrade. So that will apply those changes. Sudo apt get upgrade. And so I've ran these commands a couple times before, so there won't be much to add or upgrade. In this case, there was nothing to add or upgrade. If it's your first time with the Raspberry Pi, as in a fresh install, then you will have more than likely a lot more updates to have, and it will take a lot longer. But I was already updated mine, so it didn't take a lot of time at all. Now that we've updated and upgraded all the packages, we want to install the drivers for our RTL-SDR dongle. So to do this, we're going to use the command sudo apt get install RTL-SDR. Again, I've already installed these, so it's going to not take a lot of time at all. This is purely just for demonstration purposes. So this will also take a short while. But once it has been installed, we're going to test to see if the drivers are working on the Raspberry Pi. And to do that, what we're going to do is plug in our RTL-SDR, the dongle, into one of the USB ports of the Raspberry Pi. So that's it plugged in now. And we want to check if the logs have basically picked up on that action happening of the RTL being plugged in. And to do that, we're going to use the command tail -1000, in the var folder, the log folder, and the syslog. So what we're looking for in here is the name of the device that we plugged in. So here we are. It shows that the name of the device that we plugged in, the Realtek RTL2832U, and it has been successfully initialized and connected, and this was through the USB port. So the logs show that the Raspberry Pi is connecting to the dongle. Now what we're going to do is test if the dongle actually works itself, and that command is simply RTL_SDR. Oh, pardon me, it's not that, it's test. So here we are, it says that the dongle has been found, so that means it's working. So we can just go and close that. So now that we've updated and upgraded the packages, we've installed the RTL-SDR drivers for the dongle. We've checked the logs to see if the Raspberry Pi is locating the dongle, and we've also tested if the dongle is working itself. What we want to do now is actually install the main software Raspberry Pi TX. So Raspberry Pi TX is stored on a GitHub repository. So we're going to need to clone that repository into the Raspberry Pi here. And in order to do that, we need to install the package git. To do that, we're going to do the same as before. It's sudo apt get install git. Like before, I've already installed this, so it won't take much time at all. So now that the git has been installed, we want to clone the repository from the internet. So we'll find here we are. So the command for cloning the repository is git clone, and then the URL. I've already installed it, so I'm not gonna clone that repository again. Once the command is finished, you should use the command ls, and this will show all the directories in the Raspberry Pi. If it's been cloned correctly, you'll have a new directory called RPITX here. So if you find this here, that's a good thing. What you want to do now is change your directory to that folder using cd rpitx. Oh, pardon me. There's no I. Yeah, oh, there we are. RPITX. And we're going to see what's in this folder. So before we can use it, we want to use the install script. So to do that, we're going to do is /install.sh. Run this. Yet again, I've already run this, so it won't take me as long to run this as it will a fresh user. So once the script is completed, it's going to try and compile all of the code. And there's also going to be changes to the config in the boot folder, so it needs your permission for that. And just say yes. If it's complete and it's compiled correctly, you'll get this message that says installation completed, and that is Raspberry Pi TX successfully installed.